This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
Episode 9 of Apothecary Diaries delves into a mysterious death during a party attended by high-ranking individuals. Kounen, a notable figure and one of Jinshi's longtime friends, succumbs to an apparent overdose of salt in his drink. The episode takes on an even darker turn when Maomao and the doctor are called to investigate the death of a servant found drowned in the moat surrounding the rear palace. The circumstances surrounding the woman's death, including the bloody fingers as if she had been attempting to scale a wall, raise questions of whether it was truly a suicide or if it was murder. As the investigation progresses, it is revealed that the deceased woman was present at the notorious garden party where a minister was poisoned. Maomao's contemplation on the ease with which people can pass away, coupled with reflections on her own past, leads to a disconcerting request to Jinshi. If ever she is to be executed, her preferred method of execution would be by poison. Finally, Jinshi receives a report regarding the identity of the person in the rear palace with burns on her arms, connected to the earlier quote-unquote curse. The revelation points to Fenming, concubine Aduo's head lady-in-waiting. Putting aside the unsettling start of this episode, where a man immerses himself in a drinking binge, the episode starts off on a very light-hearted tone. We get Gaoshun's point of view as he reflects upon Jinshi's behavior as of late. He's known Jinshi for years, and he cannot understand his master's current fixation with Maomao, which is so bad that Jinshi is bewildered and distressed at the mere notion that Maomao might be romantically involved with another man. The irony here is not lost on us. From the outset, we were privy to Jinshi's calculated attempts to seduce Maomao for his own strategic purposes. However, in a delightful twist of fate, he's ensnared in the very web he wove. While I'm personally not a Jinshi fangirl, I still gotta admit, the back and forth between him and Maomao is pretty entertaining. In the middle of all the serious palace stuff, you know, the politics, power plays, intrigues, murders, their banter and the playful tug and pull between them is my favorite part about this series. Of course, Maomao is the star of this show, and I am living for her reactions. She's a simple creature, you know. She likes salty snacks, she loves medicine, poison, and booze. Give her any of these things and she's your gal. However, I can't help but worry. Her eagerness for these things might make her susceptible to manipulation. It's not that she's a simpleton who would blindly be led astray by these things, but still, Jinshi has certainly caught on to the Maomao playbook, rewarding her with things she likes after he gets her cooperation on the cases he finds himself perplexed by, even going so far as to playfully toy with the idea of restricting her boost privileges through legislation. While their banter is amusing, there is an underlying tone that shouldn't be ignored. The light-hearted quip that he could just take away her boost privileges by passing some law that would put age requirements on alcohol is reminding us of Jinshi's superior status and the power he wields, especially over lowly types like Maomao, who, due to her position as a poison tester, is essentially disposable or can be essentially considered as a disposable pawn. This power dynamic surfaces again later in the episode when Maomao casually mentions her preferred method of execution. And while some might see this as morbid, and others might simply take it as the author putting in some foreshadowing, which might be revisited in some future volume, I also saw this scene with the berries as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and how Maomao is the vulnerable one who stands to lose the most in this skewed power dynamic they got going on. Thankfully though, Maomao is acutely aware of this fact. Furthermore, I feel that just like the time when she spoke about how she was kidnapped and how she was brought to the castle and how he felt bad and he ended up giving her his silver hairpin, this forced Jinshi to really come face to face with his status and this power imbalance, and he doesn't like it one bit. His fondness for Maomao is apparent, but there exists an unbridgeable divide that Maomao is unlikely to cross. Down the line, she may be tempted, but ultimately, she's a shrewd individual prioritizing survival, and I hope that this series continues to keep it real and faithful to the world that it has spent such a painstaking amount of time to build. And speaking of faithfulness, here I am once again complaining that there isn't much I can put in this section. There's very little light novel and manga stuff that was cut out from the anime. An anime that is taking its sweet time to lovingly adapt such a wonderful series to the point that it's taken 9 episodes and we're still not done covering the first volume? Oh no, what a terrible and most unthinkable thing. Really, I have never seen another anime do this. Granted, I have not read many light novels, but this is unheard of, at least in my experience. I did find it fun how the light novel, when Maomao sees Jinshi donning the black tassel indicating mourning for Kounen, this impertinent kitty cat became curious about the true nature of Jinshi's relationship with Kounen, going so far as to think it might be something indecent. Additionally, the anime overlooks a relevant detail mentioned in the light novel. The drowned woman in the moat not only wore palace servant attire, but specifically donned the uniform of a food service woman. It's a relevant detail that helps further on make the connection between this woman being the poisoner during the garden party far more plausible. She's not just some ordinary servant, she actually was handling food in the kitchen. Makes more sense. On the whole though, the anime continues to faithfully adapt the manga, almost panel by panel. In terms of anime-only content, we have of course the opening scene with Kounen drinking himself to oblivion, but also the scene featuring the berries, accompanied by a new insert song, would constitute, at least to me, an anime-only scene, as it was drastically different in tone than either the light novel and the manga. Some viewers found it unnecessarily drawn out, maybe even veering into the melodramatic, and I get it. Yes, the music did remind me of an insert song from one of my favorite K-dramas. However, melodramatic or no, it was a good time to reflect on all the things we've seen in this series, and just how tragically short life can be. It was really effective also in emphasizing Maomao's point about the uncertainty of life and enhanced the poignancy of her request for execution by poison. Speaking of this scene, I also felt that the dub did incredibly good here. The way that Emmy Lowe dubbed Maomao here was really lovely. Maomao's voice turned soft, not entirely whisper soft, but it carried a kind of melancholic quality that I didn't get from the original Japanese. And if you ask me what the berry bush signifies, I honestly don't know myself, but it appeared on both the light novel illustration and the manga, so it is of some symbolic import at least. Too bad we're not given the name of the plant, otherwise you bet I would have gone to town talking about the symbolic meaning of the plant and its properties, and maybe I would have drawn out some kind of conclusion about what the creators are trying to convey through the use of this plant. I don't know. If you are a plant nerd, please let me know the name of this bush in the comments and I will be infinitely grateful. Unlike the other episodes, we don't get proper closure on either of these two cases, at least I don't feel that way. The Kounen salt poisoning incident just got quietly settled off screen, and we don't even know or understand why it happened and how it is relevant to the main story. And we also don't get the whole truth about the woman who drowned in the moat. There were still too many questions left unanswered in my opinion, so I feel like either one of these might come back as the series goes on. What did you think about this episode? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and until the next time, take care. Bye bye.
I'm not kissing your feet. If we're done here, maybe you should get back to your usual work. Better be careful or it might start piling up.
I take my work quite seriously.
That's a rather unusual flavor.
Youth is such a scary thing.
Do not spoil my nostalgia with reality. You're seriously having more?
More drinks. Keep the booze coming.
Talk about a fall from grace.
Then it's booze?
Don't drink it in public.
Yes! Thank you so much.